So that was our picnic salad, and James is having some potatoes with that.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about the history of ancient Rome a little bit more. Big Fat Greek Wedding 3 and us.
It took them a while to get out the third one. When did that come out? Like 10 years ago, the first one?
But I'm just going to mention this really quick, and then I'll put it over to James because he'll be more entertaining than I will. So I wrote down, now I don't know what lecture I'm on by now. Let's see. Oh, I don't know. Honestly, I think.
Okay, so what
I think
were
I'm
you?
on disc 4 now, but I'm not sure. So anyway, I wrote down some notes, and James will be able to figure out, probably because he knows more about history and stuff. So Cato didn't want his son to be educated by the Greeks. He educated him himself, as was the old style. He rejected Greek medicine, preferred magic and herbs, the old Roman style of medicine. He had Greek philosophers expelled from the city. But was his position really just a political one? And then I noticed the annual magistrates thing, the quaestorship.
You say quaestor, you say A-E.
You had
like
to be at
I.
least 25 to be a part of that.
25, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And aediles, you had to be 36.
I think it would be ideals. Something like
that. You had to have a position as a quaestor before you could be an aediles or a praetor. So praetorship, which you would be known as imperium, I don't know, then you had to be age 39 at least.
Oh.
Consulship, age 42 at least. And for consulship, you needed to be a praetor first. 2 censors were elected every 5 years, and they tended to be ex-consuls. So that's what I have from that. So James can probably talk about that more later. My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3. Now this one, 2022. So yeah, James was right. It took them a while to put this one out. And the actors are looking older now, whatever. But honestly, I'm not into these Greek Fat Wedding things. I think that it's this woman here, the actress, who puts them out, who does them, which is kind of impressive, I guess. And I did notice, what's his name? Hanks.
Tom Hanks?
I think I noticed his name as a producer or something. I think he has. Tom Hanks. So anyway.
Good for him. So a lot of women like this.
A lot of women do love this stuff.
I think they like the fat wedding. There's a lot of women.
Maybe.
I think worry too much about weddings.
Well, I mean, you get to see some beautiful Greek scenery. And yeah, it's totally made for women that way because, I mean, there's lots of wonderful food. Everyone's always eating. They're like, do you have, I'm cooking, do you have food pants or whatever on for that, like stretchy pants, so because they're really good cooks or whatever.
Yep.
And so there's the scenery, and then you get the food, and then, I mean, she's not really very attractive, and yet she has this handsome guy that is in love with her and everything like that, and life's so great. So anyway, I just honestly, when I watch these movies, I think it's kind of Hallmark quality, honestly. So not for me, but whatever. A lot of people love that stuff. Us. So this one was longer, 2 discs. So how many minutes does it say on here? It seemed to take forever to get through. 230 minutes on 2 discs. So I'm watching this story, and it's about a family, and the husband doesn't really get along perfectly. He's trying all the time. He's trying so hard, but he's a very different person. He's a biochemistry sort of person. And his wife is an artist, and their son is an artist, and so the son and wife, they get along very well. And the father, he's like an outsider, and the son is going to go off to school, and the wife's like, yeah, I think it's time we end things, you know. She just doesn't want it anymore. And here he's been taking care of them the whole time and whatever, and these two are constantly accusing him of not trying hard enough. And I'm watching this show and I'm like, he's the only one who's trying. He's been trying so hard. What, is he not trying hard enough to not be himself? To, you know, does he need to try harder to be like him instead? It doesn't make any sense. Honestly, okay, come on, you guys.
Well,
Hey,
someone's walking a dog through the alley.
I know. That doesn't make it okay. Just because James told me what happened, it doesn't make it okay.
Yeah, I'm not big thrilled about people who walk dogs in alleys, even if they've got a leash.
Elvis, you need to stop that.
Because the reason why is they don't want to pick up the poop.
So, anyway, I'm watching the show, and there's lots of times where I'm thinking he's portrayed as being, you know, not caring enough or something. He brings home this Lego set to build some sort of space shuttle or something like that. And the son starts building a really crappy dinosaur that looks like crap. And then he's all put out when the father puts the whole space shuttle together himself for the son. And he's like, oh, you wrecked my dinosaur. You know, your dinosaur looked like crap. And come on, hey, Elvis, you're going in the house. So, come on, let's go.
He knows already he's going to.
Yeah, he should know. You too. Oh, he's like, do I have to?
Yeah, well,
Oh, yeah, you do. I heard your voice too.
Yeah.
So anyway, and at one point the father tells the son something like, you shouldn't think you're special. You know, the son wants to be this artist and whatever. Whatever. You shouldn't think you're special. And honestly, nobody should. Nobody should think they're special. That's a major problem amongst aggressive propagandists, is that they think they're special. You're not.
Everyone's special, but no one's especially special.
No. Everyone is has their own unique specialities, whatever, things that you're a little bit better at and
Of course, if you're
more inclined to pursue, whatever.
if you're an aggressive individual, either propagandist or ruler, then all of a sudden you're not special at all.
Yeah, you're much less special. So anyway, what else? I mean, he's trying so hard through this whole movie, and it's, you know, they're telling it as though he's not. They're telling it as though, oh, you know, you're not trying hard enough, whatever, and he keeps trying, and they're going in a different direction from him. That's all. And honestly, at the end of the movie, you're like, oh, finally he's free of them. Maybe he'll have a good life, because he was being taken advantage of, honestly, and it was killing him. So, whatever. So, you can talk about the history of ancient Rome a little bit.
Or some.
Or something.
I want to talk about trying hard. You know, get people telling, try harder, telling others, try harder.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a question of trying smarter.
Yeah.
So if it's not working, try something different.
Yeah.
But don't stop trying unless you run into, like, I could try all I want to play soccer again. I never could. Nor should I, because I've got 5 fractured vertebrae. Could end up being a lot worse. But if you don't know your limits, try, and you're trying and it's not working, try something a little bit different, please. Oh no, for my sake, for your sake. You know, we got all sorts of cases where this, incidentally, spoiler alert, I'm going to be chowing down while I eat. You don't like it? You can lump it. In other words, put up with it. Tune into something else.
I just thought of another thing that really bothered me in that show. So, they're on holidays and they keep meeting up with this awful busker girl that the son knows, and she's a total embarrassment and
Mean a
whatever.
lousy busker?
Yeah, she's not even good, but she
Like
plays
most
the banjo.
buskers. Oh yeah.
And so anyway, she's going all over Europe, illegally busking, because I guess you have to have a permit for it, and she doesn't have permits. And she's, anyway, I don't care for her, but whatever. I tend to really not like buskers. If you're gonna go play your music sitting in a park and whatever, or fine, whatever. But you know, as soon as that suitcase is open, please put money in, and you're like, honestly, a lot of the time it's disturbing the peace. A lot of the time they're not even very good at playing. It's just put some music on some speaker phones downtown if people want music, and I don't. I want quiet. Less traffic noise would be nice. Anyway.
Oh, yeah, it would be.
Um,
No, I don't mind buskers. I kind of.
I used to
rarely
like
put
them
the
okay
money
when I was
down.
a teenager.
Yeah,
I used to think, oh, how big city or something. I don't know what I thought.
I know.
But,
But don't make your money that way.
no, it's total loserdom. So, anyway, he's meeting up with this girl, and the family's wanting to have family time, except for the son, who, understandably, he's a teenager, he doesn't want to have family time. He wants to hang out with this chick. And that he knows, and he thinks she's kind of cool or whatever. But anyway, they're in a restaurant together, and the waitress spills something on another customer, and the customer is like, well, are you going to dry clean my pants or what? You know, because like his suit is ruined. And yeah, that's a jerk move. But
Did she do it intentionally, or was
no, it was just an accident, right? And so that's a jerk move to say something like that to a waitress.
Exactly right.
But the busker girl goes over and she starts yelling at the guy, and she's, you know, just escalating the problem, and then like she's trying to stand up for the waitress. But I mean, what is she gonna do? She's just making things worse. And so then the son goes over because he wants to stand up for this girl that he knows, and he takes orange juice off the table and he throws it at the guy.
Well,
And then the father gets up and he's like, oh, I apologize, sir, for my son, who's, I don't know why he's being so stupid and whatever. And then he gets in a lot of trouble about that, you know, because
Right,
he
sure.
called his son an idiot and whatever. But
oh, no, not him. His
honestly,
son should be in
his
trouble.
son should be in trouble. You don't go throwing orange juice at somebody. What he could have gotten assault charges. So the father's trying to diffuse the situation that's already. They should be thanking the father. Oh, thank you. He didn't end up pressing charges against the son. Honestly, this show was horrible.
What was it called? Us or something?
Yeah,
U.S.
should have been called them. Them stupid idiots. I'm sure people will love it. Me saying them stupid idiots. Anyway, go ahead.
I kind of forgot what I was talking about. Gambling report. Maybe I'm just going to see now. Anyway, I don't really follow the news much. I just got sick of the CBC. I'm sick of the news. Heard some encouraging news recently. Donald Trump apparently was convicted. Picked up this news over the phone, and my source said Trump was appealing. I'm going, never thought of him as appealing. Pretty unappealing. So Big Donnie, if you're watching, Donald Dump as I call you, you're not appealing. But you probably are. Just not in that way. I'm told expert on American constitutional law or whatever. That even if he loses the appeal, he'd be running for election from jail, and I guess could be elected. And the new White House would be Attica Prison or whatever, Leavenworth, Kansas. Put him in Alcatraz or something like that. Open up Alcatraz again. Shame on you Americans for electing. I mean, you elected a criminal when you elected Richard Nixon. Of course, a lot of you folks weren't alive then. But it's more when he was re-elected, 72. 62, I don't think it was obvious that he was a criminal. And, yeah. Here's a little news for folks who go around saying, John Kennedy had the mafia steal the 1960 election for him from Richard Nixon. Okay, yeah, the vote was close in Illinois. Richard Daley and a few other Democrats might have something to do with the Democrats coming out ahead in 1960 in Illinois. And apparently the vote was pretty close in Texas. Maybe Lyndon Johnson had a little bit to do with that. Oh, yeah, Lyndon Johnson came from Texas. Kennedy himself came from Massachusetts. But if you check, you'll find out the vote in California in 1960 was close. Guess what state Nixon came from? Could it be California? Yeah, his second White House was a place called San Clemente. What do they say when the swallows return to San Clemente, or is it Capistrano? I can't remember.
Know.
Anyway, San Clemente.
Did you want a yam as well?
I could use a yam. Yeah, these yams are awesome.
You want a different salad dressing as well?
This is good. This is
Okay.
awesome. Anyway, San Clemente is got on the coast, Pacific coast, in between Los Angeles and San Diego, if I recall it right. San Clemente, Saint Clement. Anyway, so Lyndon Johnson had some fairly seamy connections. I wouldn't necessarily call them underworld, but corrupt connections. Mayor Daley of Chicago did. That's, what is his name? Richard Daley? John Daley? No, that's the golfer.
Opie and Elvis say they would like you to save them some yam.
I think I might say lamb. They'd love lamb, wouldn't they? Anyway, Opie and Elvis are the two pups that are out here yammering at a dog going by. Anyway, John F. Kennedy, what connection did he have with the mafia? Well, you know, like when you look at it carefully and objectively, but in depth, you'll find out that the mafia ended up hating Robert Kennedy, John F. Kennedy's Attorney General, and they hated John F. Kennedy so much they orchestrated, along with a little bit of help from some members of the CIA, a small number, and some members, and not necessarily all right-wingers, from disaffected Cuban refugees, exiles, whatever, refugees from Fidel Castro. Some of the folks that were against Kennedy were actually left-wingers. Understand, Castro did the same thing that Lenin did, Stalin in particular, did with their allies in the revolution. They went after him. Castro did the same. There were people who were left-wing allies of his who ended up being refugees in Florida and elsewhere. New Orleans. Some of them ended up in New Orleans. Guess where Lee Harvey Oswald came from? Not Dallas, New Orleans. Check it out. That's where his family came from. So, why were they going after Kennedy? Both Kennedys. Well, once they got elected. I'm not saying their dad, Kennedy's dad, was not involved with the mafia. I think he had a long and, from his point of view, very fruitful connection with them. I mean, he was apparently running alcohol during the Prohibition era, probably with a significant cooperation of various mafia members. But the guys that were after Kennedy were guys like Sam Giancana of Chicago. And yeah. So, but if you check it, you'll find out that Ronald Reagan actually went after the mafia, or his administration did, fairly vigorously. I'm not so sure if he wasn't playing favorites. I don't think the Kennedy brothers played favorites. You know, otherwise they would have been rewarding Sam Giancana for presumably turning over the vote in Illinois. Chicago's in Illinois, just in case you didn't know. Sam Giancana was maybe the most important mafia boss in Chicago, if not the most important, one of the most important. Well, why wouldn't they reward him? He absolutely hated him. I think later on in the 70s he said, you know, we whacked him. We whacked John Kennedy. I don't know if he admitted to Robert Kennedy. Robert Kennedy was killed in California. Oh, yeah, if you check, like Ronald Reagan had major connections with a guy called, I think he was out of Las Vegas or Southern California, maybe to a certain extent both. What was his name? Laxalt? Laxalt. Like in the big, as in the big airport in Los Angeles, LAX, and then ALT, Laxalt. Is that his name? James Laxalt. Yeah, huge connections with him. So I think Ronald Reagan, when he's going after the mafia, his administration was just playing favorites. He wouldn't have been going after Laxalt, would he? But you'll find out how much time. 5 minutes? Mm-hmm. Yeah. That Richard Nixon had major league connections with the mafia in Southern California. Oh, and he wins the popular vote in Southern California in 1960. There was, I am telling you, cheating going on both sides, and thank heavens, John F. Kennedy came out slightly ahead. You know, was he doing the cheating? No, it was his dad doing the cheating, whereas Richard Nixon was doing the cheating. It wasn't his dad. I don't know if his dad was even alive at that point in time. I wake up and smell the coffee. Everyone, it's left-wingers as well as right. Oh, yeah, John F. Kennedy was like this with the mom. No, he wasn't. They whacked him. They're the main actors in John F. Kennedy getting whacked. And my suspicion is the Southern California mafia. Yeah, I mean, apparently there's a mafia-controlled hotel that Robert Kennedy was walking through after he won the primary in California. I think it was June 6th or something like 1968. He's walking through the kitchen of all places, and he gets whacked there. You know, someone knew that he'd be walking through there. How else would Sirhan be located there? Yeah. Well, there are other things. Like, what did he have, a 6-shooter or something like that? And how many shots got fired? Is it 10? Duh. Anyway, how much time? 2 minutes?
Oh, yeah, 2.5.
2.5 minutes.
No, let's see. I don't know.
So, yeah, I got talking about
hiking.
something.
I can't think.
Aside from, yeah, we just finished the hike.
Yeah.
Anyway, the hiking, luckily enough, didn't finish us, but maybe. It always is a little bit close. Anyway, what was I talking about? The assassination. I got way off the Roman Empire. I'll deal with that the other time. I'm still reading the book that goes with
okay.
this. You know.
You're entertaining.
Anyway, yeah. So Now understand, like, or don't, I don't care, but Lyndon Johnson wasn't involved in the assassination. The CIA, the main part of it, wasn't. The head of the CIA, McCone, was a Kennedy appointee. He wasn't involved in the Kennedy assassination. They were involved in the cover-up because the original. How much time are we in?
Like 3.5 minutes, I think.
The original conspiracy was intended to make it look as though a bunch, not one Lee Harvey Oswald, but a bunch of Cubans and commies whacked JFK. And the intent was to force Lyndon Baines Johnson, the successor to John F. Kennedy, to invade Cuba and overthrow Castro in response to this assassination. Very clear. There were, I think, at least 2 folks spotted by numerous people at the parade, at the Kennedy parade in Dallas, Texas. It saw at least 2 people up on the, what was it, the 6th floor of the Texas Depository or something like that. 2 people, just like one guy hanging a gun out, One of them obviously black and was supposed to be, of course, like a black dude from Cuba. At least 2. It was supposed to look like a conspiracy. A massive communist Cuban conspiracy. And what Lyndon Johnson, he's recorded. I think it might be the next day after the assassination. He recorded himself like Nixon did after him. And like Kennedy did before him. He's recorded. And here's what he said. I'm not going to let this force me to invade Cuba. So what was his solution? Okay, I'm going to just hide the fact that it was a conspiracy. And I'll get them to pin it on Lee Harvey Oswald. Because he ends up getting killed. Why did he get killed? Well, that's the way the mafia operates. The CIA was involved in the cover-up. Johnson was. What they were doing was, for example, Garrison was trying to go after a CIA member, Clay Shaw. The CIA later admitted he was a member of the CIA. The CIA tried to embarrass him by, getting him in a washroom with a guy. And then it was supposed to be, if it had been set up properly or improperly, they would have accused Garrison of having gay sex in a public washroom or something like that, trying to embarrass him. What the mafia does is they kill people. So it's not a secret that if you messed around with Jack Ruby or Lee Harvey Oswald after the assassination, the taxi driver who drove Lee Harvey Oswald back to West Dallas, he's dead. He died. Jack Ruby died. People who were involved with Jack Ruby died. That's the way the mafia operates. I'll end it on that note. I'll deal with it in greater detail later.